Despite having some legendary IPs that should make printing money easy for them, Ubisoft can't catch a break. They keep failing after failing after failing by dropping the ball and incorporating just stupid woke ideology in what they're creating. And it's not been good. As I've reported already with Assassin's Creed Shadows, that nightmare. Look at what happened with Star Wars Outlaws, that nightmare. And now we have the Ubisoft disbanding their Prince of Persia Lost Crown development team. Rumored, but probably true. So clearly it didn't deliver. Here we have Grums, who says Prince of Persia studio is dead today, disbanded by Ubisoft. One look will tell you why. They went for tokenism instead of thoughtful, same stereotyped hairstyle we see everywhere in AAA. Diversity can be done right, and it can be done very wrong for cheap virtue points. I mean, let's be real. Actual Prince of Persia, I mean, you're playing as Persian dude, so this is already inherently diversity when you're looking at the US market, which is predominantly going to be white, or even gamers as a whole, mostly white and Asian demographics. So that being said, Prince of Persia was already inherently diverse. Why did they have to? It was just naturally and organically, and it was cool and people liked it. So why they have to do this? You can tell the people who made it, not to mention that 2D one. Oh my goodness. That was even more embarrassing. Or they just use that queer Steven Universe art design and all this kind of stuff. So here you have a very racially ambiguous design here. It's like, what even is he? You can't tell. And then of course that standard hairstyle, all this stuff. The thing is it just is. It's just too ambiguous. You don't know what he is. You can't even tell. What is this? Is this another queer character? So on and so forth. Like he's just not really giving a lot of masculinity, though he does have muscles and all that kind of stuff. It's just can't really tell what's going on with this character. There's nothing really that striking that somebody's going to look at this character and say, wow, I want to vicariously live through this character. He looks awesome. He just looks a bit too TikTok. A bit too TikTok. Like, this is the type of dude who's gonna set up his camera on a tripod and start doing some TikTok dances. You know, that's what it's giving, and that's not really something aspirational. So here you have somebody, he posts a Tinkerer Yorch, says, here's a guide to make a great Prince of Persia game. Very easy formula here. You use this character design as your starting point. Dignify him with amazing brutal combat. So you have like this very hyper masculine, just awesome dude, right? Avoid this. Is he Arab, Aztec, Native North American, North African? Who knows? Pro tip, don't confuse your gamers just for woke DEI points. That's it. It's confusing. I don't really know much about this character. He just looks like he came out of TikTok. All right. So then number 2, add many Persian hotties. They say just beautiful characters, right? People like beautiful character design. Here's something we saw with older Prince of Persia games is that the character design was appealing. It was visually appealing. So you had, you know, you had the main character, he looked good. You had the female character who would also be a beautiful woman. Right? So, yeah, it was just visually appealing. And when you're buying art, you want art to look good, you know? Now, a lot of the woke ideologues will try to fight back at this and act like, oh, why do you want porn? Why do you want pornographic games? Nobody is asking for a pornographic game with this. We just like art to look good, right? And it's always very telling coming from them and very rich coming from them because they're the ones who push like transgender ideology. They're the ones that push all this queer stuff, and people who are into all this queer stuff are so porn brained. That's what gets them to that point of being in all that queer ideology. It is all just perversion. So, yeah, it's a bunch of projection that they'll push. And then number 3, go nuts with grandiose architecture and puzzles. Puzzles, emphasis on puzzles. I'm a big fan of games with good puzzles, hence why I'm a big Tomb Raider fan. So here you have, I mean, look, you have this very standard Gen Z TikTok looking hairstyle that they're putting in everything. And so these characters are no longer standing out. I will say Echo, for his time, it was fine because you didn't see this all the time back when Echo came out. When did Echo come out in League? Like 2015 or something like that. So yeah, you didn't have all that. But now it's just like, this has become such an overplayed hairstyle, and for some reason the woke people like it. So now it's just plastered everywhere and it's no longer original. Now, I'm just going to show for reference. Let's look at Prince of Persia, the Warrior Within here. Warrior Within. You've got a very, obviously these graphics are very dated because this is an old game, but just look at it. You've got a very strong, you got a very masculine main character here. I mean, he's cool, the way that he's carrying himself and all of that. This is just a cool, hyper masculine character. So of course, people are going to like to play as him. Men who are playing as him are going to be like, yeah, this is awesome. Here's a really strong dude. How fun it is to vicariously live through him. And then women who play this are going to be like, oh, look at this strong man. All right, that's fun. So yeah. And then you've got like the female character who's very pretty. And obviously, again, these are dated graphics, but you can tell the aesthetic that they are going for it. A very pretty and a very visually appealing and awesome looking art style here going on. So again, now you've got this. I mean, dude, this just ain't doing it. Now, I know Warrior Within is more gritty than like some of the other Prince of Persia games, but let's even look at something like the 2008 Prince of Persia that did take a more lighter, colorful approach. Still, you have a really cool looking character. He looks strong. Now he's got a cool, like really cool outfit design, all that kind of stuff. And then you had the female character as well, who's really beautiful, which is not showing up on these screenshots here. But yeah, so it doesn't necessarily have to be very dark and gritty, because again, Warrior Within was more gritty and dark than previous entries. Is there like, oh, I know sometimes Steam will have like the uploads that people, community uploads, so that you can see, or community hub, let's see, because I did want to see. Yeah, here you have like, there's the female character, very obviously she looks female, which I know is rare to see these days, because they do try to make the characters look more androgynous. But this is just a beautiful game, right? And one thing that really stands out too with the art style as well is you don't have everything just blending in together. Look at the color palettes. I mean, these people who design these are actually talented artists, and they know how to make the object focus stand out. And see, here you have more of a desaturated background with then you've got the main focal points here that really stand out a lot more with just the use of color here and style. So what do you see that here? No, these aren't as talented of artists. Let's be real. This is something that we're seeing in modern games, is that they're hiring a bunch of woke ideologues and activists, and they're not as talented. I mean, not to say that this is terrible art. I mean, anatomically, style-wise, it's not egregious, and it's not as ugly as a lot of things that we're seeing, but I will say it's just boring. It just doesn't stand out. So as you see here with this screenshot, it's just everything is blending in together. The character here, he's not standing out from his background. This just looks it's not eye-catching or anything like that. So this ain't it for me. And like also the combat, like this is not looking, this baddie, he doesn't look intimidating. It's like they got the actual design with like the horns and all this stuff, but it's just so mobile gamey feeling There's not like, oh my gosh, this thing can kill me. It doesn't feel like that. Whereas something like this, even in a game that does incorporate more color than Warrior Within, for example, there are still, it feels like there's still stakes here. It feels like, okay, this is an actual battle. Like, dude, this is an actual opponent that wants to kill you. And then you got this where it's just not it. It just doesn't look intimidating. It just looks like, I don't know, bubblegummy. So anyway, regarding the game's sales, I didn't even know when this came out. That's how forgettable this was. So what all-time peak was at 1,400 concurrent players for a game with this kind of recognition and already existing fan base? Dude, that is abysmal. I'm telling you, so many of us content creators could make an RPG Maker game and hit these numbers. Why is Ubisoft, with the legendary Prince of Persia IP, not able to? So regarding the game's sales, the idea that they were soft is not surprising. The game recently released on Steam at the beginning of August. Okay, so the beginning of August. All right, it's been months. And that is the peak concurrent they could hit? Ouch. Sales estimates also indicate that the game sold at most 54,000 units and at minimum just 40,000 units. Now, ouch. That is not good for a game of this status, right? An IP of this status. You already had the Star Wars Outlaws flop again with the Star Wars IP. There's no way this should have flopped, but Ubisoft made an ugly game. You got Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is in deep crap. I just made a video about how they're not even introducing they cut early access, which they were supposed to do, but now that's not a thing because they're going to get backlash for it. It's going to be bad. So, and man, the gaming industry is not in a good place right now. People who don't like us, who are speaking out against this kind of stuff, they're just like, I just put a fake birthday on there. Oh, now it's not even showing anything. Okay, anyway. So people who don't like that we're speaking out against this stuff, they want to act like, why do you just want to see the gaming industry fail, this, that, and the other. And they try to project that we just want to see the gaming industry fail. But that is not the case. We want to see the gaming industry be good again. And it's not right now. Let's be real. It's not good. We have been flooded with activists in this industry, and the games are reflecting that, and they're not good. So we actually want games to be good again, and we are covering what's going on and having dialogues with each other because, as Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers says, us who are making these videos, we're just a bunch of retards with the camera and we're just talking with each other. But that's the thing, is we're gamers. We want to have this dialogue. Hey, remember when games were good? And so, yeah, we're not sabotaging the industry. If these games were good, they would be selling well, regardless of what we're saying. But we're sick of this, and we want to see video games be video games again, and we want to see the industry be good again, because it's not. So, yeah, that's why we say the things that we do. So, yeah, what I love, am I happy to see Prince of Persia have a flop? No, I'm not happy about that. Why would I want that? Same with like Tomb Raider. Do I want to see Tomb Raider flop? No. Why would I want that? I want to see these games be good like they used to be. But right now, they're just not. So yeah, let the bad stuff flop so that hopefully, eventually, they'll wake up and say, hey, we got to make some changes. Let's look at what worked versus what didn't and incorporate that. So anyway, that's where we're at. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And yeah, if you want me to read the Bible to you, you can check out my Bible channel, Bible Time with Melanie Mack. Thank you all again. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.